Hi everyone, it's Giselle with a message for today, and I wanted to talk about the lessons that we learn on this journey as twin flames and how we learn to love ourselves and our beloved and receive love in a whole different way. And the following things I'm going to tell you are not only things that I've experienced, but also clients that I've closely worked with over the years have experienced the same on this journey. And that is that initially, you and your person come together in a similar energy, but that isn't ultimately your end goal energy. Say, for my example, for instance, we both were excited to embark on new adventures career wise. But in love, we both felt quite lost and not too sure what direction our love lives were going to take. And throughout the years, I've discovered that we had the same core wounds. So it's not exactly the same example. Say, for instance, they're the same animal, but not the same type, if that makes sense. Like, say, for instance, our core wounds are not represented by a snake and a dragon, for example, or a snake and a pig, or a rat and a monkey. I'm just saying they are the same species of animal, so they're both dogs, but mine might be a Pomeranian and his might be a German Shepherd. So they're not exactly the same looking, but they have the same feel to them, the same energy. And when I brought up trust issues, he seemed to react quite strongly. And he went, "Trust issues? Why do you have trust issues?" And I'm thinking, hold on, but you have trust issues too. Except he wasn't owning up to it. He was always very standoffish. Well, not giving too much away about himself, although energetically he was very easy to read in that sense, because whenever I discovered something about myself, he reflected the same thing back to me, although he wasn't comfortable with admitting that. And so you will find that you have the same core issues that need to be addressed in order to upgrade yourself and be able to come together in a balanced, loving, and harmonious way. Because when we don't grow from these things, from past karma and from life lessons, then we will remain in a state of need and desperation. And I've done some healing work for myself, and for some people who've also requested that, I do offer healings. Not to cut off from your twin flame, because that's not possible, but to cut off from the painful and sad energy that you've had together. The ritual that I've started doing and developed is like a filtering system. It filters out the pain and the sadness and the negative, low vibrational energy between you. And of course, your bond will remain because you can't cut that off. You're going to cut off your own soul. You can't do that. It's just not a thing. But you can cut off from the pain, from the longing, from the misery that this journey brings, because it brings so much joy, but it also brings a lot of misery if you don't deal with things correctly. If you allow the pain to continue on, the sadness, the longing, the desperation, if you allow that to grow, it will become quite miserable. And you may grow resentful and angry towards them or yourself. And neither scenario is any good, really. So I did that ritual to really kickstart a fresh approach, a fresh beginning between the two soul, well, the twin flame is part of one. And I started to get examples of what it looks like to love in the new way. Because in the old way, when we first came together, say you had 2 plates of food each, I was so eager to give my plate to him and say, look, here's my food. Here's my love. Here's my food. But then I expected him to immediately reciprocate and give me his food. So we would essentially swap plates, so neither of us would go hungry. But that didn't end up happening. I felt that he ate my food so quickly and his plate that I had nothing to receive because he felt he had nothing to give. And it happens to pretty much all of us at the start of this journey. We don't realize that the old ways of doing things, that the karmic way of doing things, that the things we do with regular relationships that are not on a soul level, that don't go as deep, we give love and expect to receive love, and if we don't, we can become angry and resentful, and then we leave. Or we stay, which is even worse, if we feel unworthy of other people loving us, and then we just build a very resentful and angry life. The whole thing with this journey is we must learn to not give our plate away, to give to ourselves by learning how to plant or farm the animals or whatever it is that we need to do to find a source of food. It's not just a limited amount that we have on a plate. We have endless amounts, and we can always replenish ourselves. And in doing that, we are helping our beloved on their journey. But it starts with somebody, and majority of the time it is whomever is drawn to finding more out about this journey first will be putting the practical steps in place first. And I know a lot of people think, oh, well, that's unfair. What about them? Don't they need to put their work in? And yes, they do, but it is not up to us to point the finger and say, oh, look, you're not pulling your weight. If it bothers you that much, then don't pay attention to them at all, really. And it isn't easy, whilst you are finding the way to become abundant in your love. You may find that they hurt you even more on the way. They may block you or not talk to you or just ignore you or even say painful things. Although I will mention that a twin flame is never abusive. They are only ever acting out of fear and lack of self-worth, but they don't mistreat you, hurt you physically, mentally, emotionally. They don't do that. So if you're in a relationship like that, then that is not twin flame, and please find the strength within yourself to find something better. I just wanted to make that clear because some people still think that those can be applied to those very toxic relationships, and that's not the case. So yeah, they may be doing all these things that really bother you, but it's best to not pay that mind, because I know with a lot of cases, a lot of people, the blocking is a way of them trying to protect themselves or trying to protect you from not seeing them fully for the person they are, because they're not proud of themselves. They are very ashamed and embarrassed, and would you rather not see that. So I know it's quite hard to understand, but once you get to grasping that you need to love yourself first And only through that can you become abundant. It'll be easier. Yes, we get our ups and downs on this journey, and not every day is as simple as the other. But we have to understand that we are evolving and growing and ascending to a higher, better level. And then we do come together, we will be a much better, upgraded version from who we were when we first met. So thank you all for watching this video and listening. If you'd like to connect with me and purchase any of my services, I do readings, healings, channeled letters, meditations, question bundles if you don't want a full-on healing but you just want to ask me questions every now and again. All the details are in the description on my website, and I'm offering special promotions here for the month of October until the 31st. There's 25% off for sessions, so that's buy 3 get 1 free, or 40% off 10. And all the details are on my community page. Thank you all so very much for watching, and have a beautiful day. Namaste.